with S&P 500 near an all-time high and the fear and greed index making it over into extreme greed territory. Is the stock market underestimating this warning that could take hold in just a matter of hours? Now, today, we did have Powell out here speaking, and we were talking about this during the live stream, listening to Powell. And essentially, Powell says, you know what? We're in solid shape. Nothing to worry about. Come on in. The water is warm. Now, one thing he did mention within that speech I picked up on was revisions. And I would encourage you guys, go back and watch when Powell was speaking today. Watch his body language, especially when he's asked about soft landings and things as such. We come over and look at how the indices fared across the board. The Dow was up 17 points. The Nasdaq up 69 points. S&P 500 up 24. And the Russell 2000 up 0.59. Now we look at advancing issues versus declining. 47% of issues advancing on the day, meaning there was more issues declining than there were advancing. Then as we come over and look at the sectors, almost every sector was in the green except for basic materials, consumer cyclicals, communication services leading the way, and something that a lot of traders and investors are not paying very much attention to. U.S. port strike by 45,000 dock workers is all but certain to begin at midnight, which means depending on when you're watching this video, it could only be moments away. Now, the question is, how is the stock market going to handle the news of the strike? We come over and look at the overseas market last night. The Nikkei was down at 1,900 points. We look at the dollar index today. Dollar index actually closing up green, up 0.351%. Then we come over and look at the precious metal gold, and what do we see? We're getting that pullback that we've been watching. One of the areas we're talking about is all the way down here towards 27.2. But wait, I thought the Fed was cutting rates. If that is the case, why do we continue to see the 10-year yield on the rise? Does that mean maybe Powell is not going to be as aggressive as the market was first pricing in? Because we come over and look at the Fed watch tool this morning before the market opened, the odds of a 50 basis point rate cut at the next FOMC meeting was greater than a 25 basis points. And today we saw that actually flip and actually got even more lopsided, meaning more towards the quarter point basis cut after Powell was out there speaking today. Now we come over and look at crude oil, basically a candle of indecision, wick on the top, wick on the bottom. Now, if this level holds, then we have that potential for the ABC pattern on the way up, all the way up here towards 76.58. We come over and take a look at Nvidia today, actually closing up, only up 3 cents, but still that is a win. Green is green. We take a look at Microsoft today. Microsoft was up $2. We take a look at Google. Google was also up $1.90. And then Apple was basically rallying up. Now we can see Apple's right at an inflection point where we have a swing point right over here. So if Apple can get above the swing point, that opens the door for an ABC pattern all the way up here to 243.45. And we zoom that out. What does that mean? Another new all-time high. Now we come over and look at the SPY. We see today closing near the upper part of the range. Now we have this gap down here. However, right here, right now, the market's like, we don't care about that gap. We're going to continue to go ahead and trade up a little bit higher. MACD indicator on the daily chart still looks extremely bullish. Then out here on the 4-hour chart, you can see this upper level consolidation. MACD indicator has been flattened out, but if we can stay above this high volume node at about 573.20, we have the potential to go ahead and run and make a new all-time high. On the hourly chart, notice what we did. The MACD indicator basically making it down towards the zero line. And for all intents and purposes, this has been nothing more than an upper level consolidation. And now we're about to see a breakout to the upside. Then as we come over and look at the 30-minute profiles, notice this is one of the areas that we marked off out here this morning. And look what happened this afternoon. The market came right back up. Today during the live stream, I kept telling traders, I think they're going to try to rally the market going into the close. I'm going to show you guys a trap situation that we talked about when we look at the futures markets today as well. Now that we're out of this area, notice we do have a minus development area. So I'm going to simply drag this right over here. I'm going to go ahead and push that down here a bit. This is going to be a point of interest out here for tomorrow. One, we can use it for a target, and look where we're at. We're already within that zone. And then two, we're either going to push up and out, or normally we consolidate the first time we come into that area. Now, as we jump over and we look at the futures markets real quick, looking at the S&P 500, what do we see? We have a big long tail on the bottom of this candle. Now today, notice we were able to get the full volume profile rotation on the way down and on the way back up again. So from a weekly perspective, we are trading above value area high. Now, keep in mind, when we have a D-shaped profile, we expect the first way we break, more likely than not, tends to be a false break. And what do we have down here? We have the false break, we have the trap, and it actually started to resolve itself to the upside. And we basically talked about this today during the live stream. If we zoom this up here just a bit, we were talking about all of this, right? This is basically a larger consolidation. Then this afternoon when Powell started speaking, we had the break of this zone. Now this is a target area. Once we broke, I said, watch out for it. And if we get above that, watch for the point of control and see if we can go higher. Well, we came all the way up to the secondary minus development area all the way up here as well. So we had quite a push coming into the end of the day. Now, if you notice, value area high is going to be all the way down here at 5798.00. We're going to have the point of control at 5785.50 with value area low down here at 5776.50. Now, notice we have one of my favorite setups that I like to see when we talk about volume profile. One, we have value area high, which we closed above. So what does that mean? Either tomorrow or the following day, highly probable we're going to come back and test that level. Then we'll see, do we come all the way down towards the untested point of control? I want to remind you guys, there's only hours left to take advantage of Apex's 80% sale off all their valuation accounts, $35 reset fees, pass in as little as 1 day, and $85 activation fees across all account sizes. If you want to take advantage of this offer, use the link in the description box down below. Use promo code Mike at checkout. Now, when we come over and look at the QQQs real quick, we start off looking at the daily chart. You can see they tried to sell it down early on, but we were able to close near the upper portion of the range. Then out here on the 4-hour chart, we've had this upper level consolidation. Now this week we've pulled back a little bit more. If the selling starts to resume, watch out for this high volume area down here. The MACD indicator is not looking that strong at this moment. On the 1-hour chart, we see we came down towards the zero line, which means we need to be cautious. We could be getting ready to rip up and make another run and take out this recent swing high over here. On the 30-minute chart, here's an area that we drew out this morning, the first 30 minutes of the live stream. If we extend that to the right, notice where we came to right at the very end of the day, and we marked that off roughly somewhere between 9 and 9:30 this morning, and we were able to come all the way back up towards that area. Now, if you look at the volume profile levels, we're closing very close towards value area high, and we'll see, do we make a run down towards the point of control, which we know the answer is yes. Why? Because that's exactly where we're trading right here after hours. Now, when we come over and look at the futures markets real quick, we're focused on this 20,074 price point, this untested point of control during the live stream. And we came down there, we overshot it a little bit, bink, right back up. And look at all the wicks on the bottom of these candles. To be fair though, with these 1, 2, 3 candles, they have wicks on the top and on the bottom. But this 4-hour candle is looking very, very bullish at this time. We've had the context of a minor downtrend. Then we get this hammer candle washing out the lows. And now we're going to see how much higher can we potentially go. If you look, you can see we did not quite make it all the way below value area low, but last night we did get above value area high. So we talked about that this morning. We had the rotation on the way down. First target, you could have picked off this distribution node here, then down towards the point of control. And if we could break that, we still have this minus development area, which we could come back down at some point, maybe later this week, and try to test out. Then as we come over and we look at the daily profiles, we can see that same trap formation form. On the Nasdaq, we had this consolidation. We break when Jay Powell starts to speak right here. We had it marked off candle wick to the candle body. That would be a target. And if we got above that level, what did I say? We're likely going to hit 20,182, and we made it a lot further than that. We continue to go up, but let's be fair. We have a D as in dog shape profile. So what does that signify? Tomorrow is likely going to be a breakout or breakdown from this pattern. And if we look, value area high comes in at 20,231.75. We have the point of control down here at 20,182.75 with value area low being 20,142.25. So notice we are closing above value area high. So if you're looking to target this area, it might not be too bad, but I don't want to take a trade if we're right there on it. I like to see us push maybe at the open, push a little bit higher before I start trying to target that specific price point. Now, when we look at the economic calendar for tomorrow, keep in mind, we have a lot of jobs data coming out this week. And starting off tomorrow, right here at 10 a.m., we have the JOLTS job openings. We have ISM manufacturing prices. However, before that, we do have a little bit of news at 9:45, final manufacturing PMI. And again, we don't just have jobs data on Tuesday. If we look on Wednesday, we have the ADP non-farm employment change. Then on Thursday, we have the weekly unemployment claims. Then on Friday, we get the big jobs numbers, the non-farm employment change numbers. So for the remainder of the week, we're going to start to see, is the labor market showing signs of weakness, or is the labor market as strong as they're leading us on to believe? Now we come over and look at the Dow Jones. You can see on Friday, we had that bearish candle, but now we have a hammer. It's looking more and more obvious, like we're probably going to go ahead and run this wick. Keep in mind, we do have an ABC pattern completion up here at about 430.21. MACD indicator is starting to look a little bit weak. The lines are getting a little bit close together. Then out here on the 4-hour chart, Notice we've had this upper level consolidation. MACD slightly has a bearish cross, but we have not made it down to the zero line yet. Then when we go down to the 1 hour chart, we almost made it down towards the zero line. Now the MACD is trying to get that hook. The last two 1 hour candles were quite bullish, basically erasing all the gains for the day. Out here on the 30-minute chart, we had some minus development areas marked off this morning. However, we were not able to hit those price points. Now, keep in mind, we did close above value area high, but we see after hours, we are down slightly from the closing price. And we'll see, do we come back down towards the point of control, or are we going to see these minus development areas taken out tomorrow? Now, we look at the Russell 2000, we see the MACD indicator does not look very strong. We do have an ABC pattern completion up here at about 230.02. And we need to ask ourselves, are we going to be able to push back up and break through this resistance level or not? On the 4 hour chart, you can see the MACD indicator is crossed to the downside. But as we look at the 1 hour chart, notice we're down here near the zero line. Now, we do have a minus development area that we had marked off the profiles. And notice what we did this morning. We ran up towards that area. Boom, we rejected back down. And then later on this afternoon, we're trying to make our way back up towards that area. Now, tomorrow, if we are trading above value area high, I do want to look and see, can we run back up towards this high volume area on the profile at about 222.14? However, if we start breaking value area low, I want to look for a retest down here near the lows. But tomorrow, I also want to be on high alert for potential rotation trades, meaning we break value area high, we start coming back down, I want to play the rotation to the downside. If we break value area low to the downside, but then we start coming back up, I then want to play the rotation back to the upside. Now, if you guys want to learn how to set up Quant Tower Nitro for fast track trading, make sure to watch this video right here.